Leah from Island Sun Tarot. Welcome to my autumn tarot decks. These are really some favorites, but it's mostly just what I'm going to be using for this autumn time season. And actually I'm going to just carry through with a lot of these through the winter as well, because I had plans on working with these ones. So I probably won't be doing a winter seasonal video. I think I'm going to just mix it up and do a like decks that I use year round. So this is probably going to be my last seasonally themed one for the year. And a lot of these decks I had planned on working with these because last year I was still just fresh off of moving to Hawaii in the middle of summer, and it definitely was endless summer. Definitely had that feeling. And don't get me wrong, I'm originally from California, and in California there really isn't fall either. I don't know if anyone else lives there that's watching this that can attest to the fact that it's summer, 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 and then all of a sudden one day it just decides it's winter and it's cold, and that's it. There's like nothing in between. It could still be 90 or 100 even right now at the end of September into October. And last year, because of that endless summer feeling, I never really purposely chose to work with certain decks for the autumn and winter. And the deck that I was so in love with last year was the Oak, Ash, and Thorn Tarot, because I had backed it, pre-ordered it, what have you. It was actually sent from the UK to my parents' house in California. So my mom quickly shipped it to me here. So I was a little delayed behind everybody else on getting it, but I do remember opening it in October here. And I was just absolutely in love with it, totally addicted to it. And so then that was what I used all through autumn and winter, really, until maybe a couple other things kind of peppered in. But until I got the Druid Craft in March for my birthday, I had just really been obsessed with the Oak, Ash, and Thorn. So this year I wanted to set aside some decks to be very mindful about what I'm working with. And well, one of these especially I purchased on purpose to work with for the season. So let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and do sort of animal decks first because I already mentioned Oak, Ash, and Thorn. This is by Three Trees Tarot, Stephanie Burrows, and the illustrations are by Adam O'Fellers. Box, really pretty like sleeve. Okay. I love this deck so much. And this is definitely a deck that can be used year round. All these are just decks that I'm working with for the autumn time season. So just, you know, take that as you will. I think it's because I got this deck last October that, you know, those are the vibes that it kind of had for me. Oh, look at this. Look at his face. I can't even. Is it gonna focus? Probably not. Oh, it's so cute. Really? Okay, so this deck is really just everything for me. These first few cards are actually really good. We have the, you know, the leaves, sort of those orange and red like colors. Even some of these darker background colors are really beautiful. I don't mind sort of the white edge around these. I think it frames in the artwork real nice. I like, you know, the numbers, the titles down at the bottom. Oh, this is precious. But like I said, this is by no means am I picking this solely due to the colors. Yes, some of the colors do lend to sort of a fall time, but this deck reminds me of the Redwall books. If anyone has read any of those, they're by Brian. I say Jacques, it could be Jake's. There's a Q in there. And it just really gives me that forest at autumn with all the leaves. It could be very spring too. There are flowers and greenery. But also, because I got this deck last October and I just really, really connected with it last year, I just want to bring it out because when I got the Druid Craft this year in March, was when I finally put it down and gave some attention to my other animal decks that were feeling quite unloved. So I'm ready to really get this back out again. And like I said at the beginning of the video, I'll probably carry this through all the way to the winter and to the spring. I'll end with this one. This is one of the extra cards. So sweet. Okay, so that's the Oak, Ash, and Thorn by Three Trees Tarot. Really, really beautiful deck. And for this one, it's really a tactile thing too. The cardstock is just lovely. And it's a pleasure to work with in your hands, to shuffle, even just to look through the cards. They're stunning. All right, next we have the Brady Tarot by Emmy Brady. So I know I've talked about this deck before on my channel, and the sense that I never really got on with it, and I can't bring myself to get rid of it. And I had it in purgatory for a couple months. I didn't really feel the need to get it back out until quite recently. I wanted to give it another go, and it's beautifully edged in gold. Give it another go for the fall, autumn time. So this, I honestly think it's because of the dark borders. Yes, the colors are gorgeous. Again, you could use this deck any time of the year, but for me, the darker aspect to some of the cards and the fact that this deck has been a little bit more dark and cheeky with me, I thought it would be a good time to get it out and to have it as an animal deck to work with some of these others that I've gotten out for the season. Oh, this one's cute. See, I'm really excited to try and dig down deep with this deck and really just to be a little bit thicker skinned, because before it's really just slapped me on the hand a couple of times, and I know I've mentioned it before, sort of like hurt my feelings almost, and I've just kind of put it away and been like, oh geez, like thanks. Thanks for that, you know. So I'm ready to put aside some of that negative energy and really just enjoy the artwork and see what this deck has to offer, because that was why I originally purchased it, because I loved a lot, 95% of the artwork. That polar bear card I just showed a few back, that one was kind of hard to look at. For the most part, like even something like this is gorgeous. Sort of fossilized teeth there down the sides. I think this is just a deeper deck with a lot of animal and plant meaning behind every single card. And so I think it just needs to be given a little bit more of extra time. So I'm really excited to dig in deeper with this deck, and I'm hoping that it works out, because I really do, you know, so many times I've thought, oh, I just need to cull it, and I never have. What does that say? So Brady Tarot by Emmy Brady. It's independently published, but I'm pretty sure you can still get it readily available. All right, this other one I have shown quite a bit, and this one is, along with another, is one that I had like purchased, be like, oh, that's perfect to work with in the fall time. Tarot of the Abyss by Untitled, published by US Games. Nice hard 2-piece box. I really like this US Games, this new cardstock that they're doing. I think it's perfect, shuffles really well, holds up great. So the reason why I originally purchased this for the autumn time, was because of the black and white, and I thought the theme would be, black and white theme, would be fun, not the theme of the deck, to work with, because I don't have any other black and white decks in my collection. Turns out, when I got it, I loved it so much, and so I had been working with it. I believe I got it in May sometime, so I've been working with it since then. I have put it aside here and there to use a few other things, but this is definitely going to be used. I'm totally loved. Just want to get really synchronized with it it already speaks to me so much, and I love the readings that I get from it. I think I've been a little sort of hoarding it to myself a little bit. I haven't used it to read for anybody else yet, but I think after we deepen our connection a little bit and sort of get past that honeymoon phase, I'll definitely be ready to use it to read for other people, because I just really think that this deck is totally just meant to be cherished and shared. Oh, it's beautiful. So I'm already in love with it, but I had originally purchased it to use it for this season, and I'm excited to continue working with it. Next, so in years prior, I had used this deck in the autumn, sort of winter time. It's just because here in Hawaii, we don't have a time change, so it just kind of continues on the way things are, no difference. Whereas in California, we had that 1 little hour time change where it just got darker so much earlier, and I had actually teased with my mom that sort of sends me in sort of a depression in a sense. Like I can't stand it. I really can't. It's this weird time with my horse, and it always has been through the years with all my horses. Blanketing season, which can be a pain. The horses grow their winter coat, but yet we still have those hot days, so it's awkward because their body naturally wants it to be winter, but because I have always lived in California, we would have to clip their whole body and then do the blankets. So it's just this weird horse axiom all mixed in with it getting dark earlier and having kids and having to just be inside at that time. And so I always used to tease, it's so depressing. But because of me feeling like that while living in California, I always use this deck. Not that this deck is depressing, that's not what I mean. It's just the darker tone to the deck with these sort of lighter colors mixed in with the suits. We sort of have this like bronzing here for the coins. Here's another one for the coins. I guess here's a few of the majors. Some colors kind of mixed in. Sort of this pink in the wands. I don't know, I feel like the little bit of color that's given with these cards is like hopeful and beautiful, all mixed in. This deck actually has some of my most favorite cards ever. Immediately upon receiving this deck, I was already in love with the artwork because I looked at it online, but actually reading with it was such a joy, and it really was just so clear. Never questioning any reading. I don't feel like it can be, like it doesn't have a trickster side, at least with me. Oh, this is one of my favorites. The cups kind of have this soft blue with sort of these darker red flowers mixed in. Here we go, here's the A so you can see the, so let me see, blades, sort of this darker navy. Anyways, I love this deck. See, so this is still a wands, it just barely has a dash of pink in it. I've just always really enjoyed this artwork. And so this is definitely a repeat for me that I'm bringing back out to continue on with, because I already have a connection with this deck. Some of the others, well, the Oak, Ash, and Thorn I feel quite close to, but the Tarot of the Abyss I'm still getting to know. Brady Tarot, that's a total, random wild card for this. So I wanted to have something to work with this season that was really going to just be that rock, that place of comfort. What a perfect card for me in case I get frustrated or flustered working with some of these other decks, and I just want to have that feeling of like home. This is that deck for this season. So let's show one more. There's so many great ones. I feel like I've showed lots of cups. Let's show a knight. I love the knights from this deck. Every single one is gorgeous. Oh. So, yes. The Darkness of Light. Oh, I'm sorry. I know this is an independent deck. I believe it's Tony DeMarco. I'm sorry I didn't write it down. I'll definitely link the independent ones below so that you can find it really easy. All right, I've already mentioned this one, so it'll come as no surprise. That's why I saved it for last. Tarot Vampires by Ian Daniels. So this was actually in my little mini-series, my X decks. This is the only deck from that series that I repurchased, and I repurchased it a couple months ago preparing for this autumn time season, and I'm so glad that I did. I had previously said that it came with a nice hard magnetic box, and so then when I got it in the mail, I was like, oh my gosh, could it be? And I thought for sure it was going to just be in the flimsy box like before and be sort of that real cardboard kind of cardstock that I have on some of my other decks from Llewellyn, like the Shadowscapes, that is quite a bit older, and the Animal Totem, same sort of cardstock there. But no, it's on the new, just a lot thinner. Oh, and I finally finished edging it. I know I had mentioned that in a couple of my other videos. So it's not, of course, it's not going to show up very well. I used a ruby metallic Sharpie, and my feeling was that here's the back of the card, that very center color that's around the rose, sort of that mauve, I wanted to try and sort of match that. I don't know, I feel like it goes. It looks so pretty sitting down like this with the back. Oh, I love it so much. Okay, so this deck, I've just been working with it the last couple weeks. It took me a little bit of time to edge it. It's like I would do 10 cards and leave them to dry for a few minutes, and then I'd walk away and I would get busy and I wouldn't be able to finish it. So I finally finished it. And this deck is just so fun. It's so dramatic, but I love it so much because of that. Like, it makes me feel like an episode of Vampire Diaries, which can be overly dramatic, I admit. And what was the spinoff? Oh, the originals. And I love those. I'll admit it. I love those shows. And all mixed in with any other vampire thing that you can think of. Interview with a Vampire, total classic with Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, and of course the Underworld. So it gives me all the vampire vibes for this season, especially with Halloween approaching, but I will continue to use this through the winter for sure, as with the rest of these decks. Oh, I love this horse with the eyes. This one looks like John Travolta to me. But yes, I love it. It is so fun, and it has such a fun voice that is just, oh gosh, it's just, it has a sense of humor. It can be sarcastic and cheeky, if that makes any sense. Oh, I love so many of these. Each card is so detailed and offers so much. I really feel like this is like the darker version of Shadowscapes for me, because just each card is just so deep. And even, oh, I didn't mention, I guess even some of these cards could be a little like Twilight, like that last one. Which one was it? When they're showing like the black and white sort of old time flashbacks and stuff. It's so perfect. And I love it. This deck just makes me so happy. I'll probably continue to use it year round. And I'm so glad that I repurchased it. And I honestly think that I just didn't give it the time of day, like I had mentioned before in my X decks video, that I was working with other things. Oh, this is, oh. I was working with other things. I just didn't have time for it. So when I culled it, it was like, oh, I just never got around to it. I'm not hauling it all the way to Hawaii on a pallet. I'm so glad that I repurchased it, really just because the cardstock is so gorgeous. I love it, and I love the guidebook for this is insane. Even if you don't appreciate this deck or the artwork, buy it for the guidebook. It's seriously worth it. Put this deck away, only use it around Halloween, you know, whatever the case. Buy this deck to read the guidebook. Seriously. So good. This is actually the picture for the guidebook. The artwork, sorry. Okay. 2 more, just because I love them so much. I'm so sorry. Look how dramatic. The snake and the panther, the crow. It's all just, it's too much for me. I can't even. Damon, when his humanity's off. I'm just kidding. I love it so much. Okay. So, Tarot Vampires by Ian Daniels. This is another one that I purposely bought, or technically repurchased, for this season, autumn season. And so that's all the tarot. That was, what, 5 decks. And then, I don't want to say honorable mention, it's just this will probably be the only Oracle deck that I use for the season. It's the Isis Oracle by Alana Fairchild with art by Jimmy Manton. I've mentioned this a lot on this channel. This was a repurchase. And, oh, I love it. I'm so glad that I did. So it's a Blue Angel deck, and it's the new matte cardstock. The back's gorgeous scarab. And this deck is just everything to me. It really feels like a best friend. I spend time with it in the morning, or most likely, if I don't have time, in the evening, always. Cup of tea. The artwork is amazing, and I love what is given at the bottom of the cards, but then the guidebook is also really, really lovely. And if you've seen my quite quaint Oracle deck collection video, I don't have that many Oracle decks. I have a hard time connecting with them. Or also, I'll get a deck because I really like the artwork and it takes me time to connect with it. I haven't gone through that many because I just don't purchase that many, because I'm really discerning in the sense of watching walkthroughs, and I just automatically know, no, that one's not for me. But this is everything. It can be just so mothering, nurturing, and kind and gentle, but also, just like my mother, stern when it needs to be. The type of mother I strive to be with my children. I feel like there's lots of life lessons and history within this deck. I love it so much. So this will probably be the only Oracle deck that I use through this season and in through winter. Again, I do use this deck year round, but I'm specifically going to be only working with this for the autumn. Winter time. So that is it, guys. Like I said in the beginning, I'll probably carry through with these decks through the winter time. A lot of these have just been, fast favorites. Love them all. The Brady Tarot, I want to love it so badly, but I'm excited to really give it some time and try and connect with it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Comment below decks that you'll be working with for this season, or then also any year-round decks that you're just either continuing to work with, or you just love them year-round, no matter what. The honeymoon phase is never ending. So comment below. I love seeing those decks. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.